For the first time ever, weapons and warfare has gone international. We're on the ground in Ukraine as some of the biggest names in defense are here to help the cause. We go inside the second ever Defense Tech Valley. It's quickly becoming one of Europe's flagship defense technology investment summits. Hello and welcome to Weapons and Warfare, where our goal is to give you the information you need to have an informed conversation about the military and national defense with your friends, coworkers, significant others, really anybody. For Straight Arrow News, I'm your host, Ryan Robertson, and as you can tell, we're not in the studio. We're out on the road, actually on the other side of the Atlantic in Lviv, Ukraine. We're here to cover Brave One's Defense Tech Valley 2025 Summit and Exposition. For those who don't know, Brave One is an initiative by the Ukrainian government created to speed up the growth and use of cutting-edge defensive technologies. Think of it as a hub that brings together innovators, the military, and investors. And that's why it's the subject of this week's Debrief. All right, folks, I'm joined now by Artem Rose, the head of investor relations for Brave One. Artem, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for coming.
So talk to me about this show. It's designed to get European, American investment into Ukrainian defense products.
Exactly. So last year we had our first edition. We had people from around 30 countries, more than 1,500 people, and we saw a huge success of it. And the idea is exactly, we want to have more investors from Europe, from the United States, from other parts of the world to invest in Ukrainian technologies, to build together with Ukraine those technologies that are able to protect Ukraine and also their allies. This year we are doing the second edition, and it's actually, according to our knowledge, should be the biggest investment summit focused on defense tech in the world. We do have representatives of more than 50 countries. We do have thousands of people coming from the investor side, from company side, from startups to scale-ups, so a huge range of different opportunities.
Let's talk about that huge range of defensive contractors. I see a lot of UAVs, a lot of UGVs, there's some drone interceptors. Is there anything in particular that you're wanting more investment into, any kind of technology that Brave One really wants to see some investment?
So for us, we don't focus on legacy solutions. We believe that our core value and strength is in technology. So we want to focus on new generation defense, let's say. We work a lot with unmanned systems on all domains, from air, ground, water, and underwater. We also focus a lot on artificial intelligence because our idea is that we want to move people away from the front line. We want to save their lives, and in order to make that, you need to make equipment smarter, and artificial intelligence is coming there. Also, electronic warfare systems and signal intelligence, that is actually another point that is critical, like fundamental, plus the communication systems to connect all the different platforms that are operating now on the front line.
Earlier today, there was a press conference. There were several investment agreements that were announced. Can you kind of walk through some of those that have come out during the show?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are trying to be this bridge as Brave One to connect these private investors with Ukrainian defense ecosystem because it's still quite close, and a lot of investors, especially international, they don't understand how does they get in. So what we do, we signed today agreements for more than $100 million of the investment into Ukrainian companies, in startups, in scale-ups, all the different kinds, from funds from Europe, also from the US, and also today there was the biggest investment round on Ukrainian defense tech announced, actually a company working on the swarming technology for drones, letting one operator control multiple drones at once. As they raised the Series A $16 million round from US investors.
What does success look like for this conference, right? $100 million, right? That's biggest investment in defense tech that you mentioned. But I imagine that's not going to be where you want to stop, right? I mean, Russia has more than $100 million worth of weapons. So where do you gauge success?
So we definitely don't measure success in terms of investment amount, because the impact that we want to create is on the battlefield. Those investments is extra resources that companies should have in addition to grants that we give as Brave One, in addition to contracts, but we need to do as much as we can to get resources from all the places, to invest them into the technologies, keep the technologies cutting edge, keep them always one step ahead of Russians, and then at some point we believe this technology will have global potential and those companies can become unicorns together with our partners.
I want to pick up on that point, the global potential of so much of this tech, because American defense contractors, there was folks in the Department of War who just said, Ukraine is way ahead of us on drone technology. Talk about the role that Ukraine is playing to be the springboard of all kinds of defense technology for the future.
Actually, that's a good point, because I just had a conversation with one US startup who will be pitching tomorrow at our event. They're doing visual navigation for drones, so essentially letting drones operate in GNSS-denied environment. And they were looking for the platform where they would put this module to let drones fly. In the US, they couldn't find a platform that is fitting their particular needs. Here, they found it in 2 hours. That is about the variety, about the ecosystem, and about getting it more mature.
What else do we need to know about Brave One before I let you go?
So Brave One, we are actually today uniting more than 2,000 companies. Just to understand the scale of this ecosystem, we have been the biggest governmental investor in the companies, providing the grants and giving us the first boost, and also decreasing the risk for investors that are coming today, because we as a government have already invested in those companies. We help them move away from the prototype or idea to something that is already working in the front line. So we invite investors from all the parts of the globe to come, to see the technologies, to know that they have been working indeed, not on decks or not on the pictures, but really on the front line, invest in them and become part of this success story, both from moral perspective, because we all want to protect democracies, but also commercially. These companies will become big and will become important globally.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank
Artem.
you.
Appreciate it.
It's time to break up with mainstream media and try something new.
At Straight Arrow News, we're bringing back trustworthy journalism.
Bringing you news, not noise.
Bringing you facts, not fluff.
Bringing you clarity, not chaos.
We are
We are.
We are Straight Arrow News, the news you've been looking for.
For unbiased, straight facts, visit san.com.
One of the main areas of investment that Ukraine is looking to get into is unmanned ground vehicles. And here to talk a little bit more about that is Anatoly Nikitin with VTAG Unmanned Ground Vehicles. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ryan, to take interested from this. Yes, we are producing and designing the new step of the unground vehicle, the heavy unmanned ground vehicle in Ukraine, because as you can see here in the exhibition, everybody more focused on the smaller ones. But our main idea was to create the vehicle who can easily replace on a battlefield the human-operated APCs and the human-operated transportation devices, because the human is the quite more vulnerable than the iron. So we provide the platform. This is actually modular and quite unique one, because we can easily install it because of their. Some of them, some of our competition said that it's too big to be heated, but it's also quite armored itself, and it's also modular and quite flexible. You can easily place the assault module in there, or maybe the defensive one. But we are focusing on what we are not showing this, because it's for exhibition. Everybody excited about the big guns like in Texas, but we are more focusing on the logistic purposes, because the logistic now is the crucial one, is the crucial part. I am retired vet from the 3rd Assault Brigade, and in this January I was on the battlefield and provided all the military stuff. So for now we are payload capacity of the 2 tons, we can easily moving by the speed of the 47 kilometers per hour off-road. And that's the main reason we are trying to reduce the human losses on the battlefield. So we are focusing on this big guy. So it actually looks like more a rhino or a buffalo.
Where is it manufactured?
We manufacture here locally in Ukraine. So it's totally Ukrainian, but we are also foreseeing the next step is to have the production somewhere abroad, because the export is restricted for now because of the war production. But we understand that we can also be interested for guys in USA also, because we are much cheaper than them.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. All right, folks, for CommsCheck this week, we're checking in with friends of the show, ShieldAI, and some new products that I just learned about. Here to talk a little bit more about that is James with ShieldAI. James, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, it's great to be here and great to speak to you.
Absolutely. So we have this new UAV, fixed-wing UAV right here. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, we're super excited. This is the first time that we're bringing HiveMind into Ukraine. So we've had a lot of success with HiveMind on board VBAT, but this is the first time that we're putting it onto a strike platform. So this will be called D4, Okay, it's got about an 80 to 100 kilometer range, 3.5 kilogram payload, and it uses visual-based navigation and pixel look for terminal guidance. And essentially the way that it will work is it will work in tandem with ISR platforms. Initially it will work with VBAT, so VBAT will pass targeting data, imagery to the platform, and then the platform will use that to conduct autonomous strike missions. So we're super excited about this, already started integration, and we are looking to go live operationally in October.
You said it's HiveMind enabled, so obviously it's going to have the same kind of brain power as your VBAT, but the launch is going to be different. I see a catapult sticker on the back, so obviously I am going to assume that means it's a catapult launch.
Yeah, just to be clear, a lot of the software on board this is by Ironbelly. They're a fantastic company, and actually HiveMind is complementary to what they've already developed.
Gotcha.
And what is already a very impressive capability. But it is a catapult launched, it's not a VTOL, it's a one-way attack, like loitering munition. Okay, so very different, super exciting, different type of technology that we're working on, and this is an iterative process, right? We're not done now. We will continue to refine new features as our engineers continue to work together over the coming months in what is a target-rich and data-rich environment. So we're really excited about what we can do, and we're really the roadmap we're looking at for this is teaming to reduce that cognitive load on the operator. We're looking at 3 to 5 of these, okay, and that's on our roadmap and something that we're going to be working really hard over the coming months to develop.
All right, I can't let you go without talking about VBAT, right? I mean, it's your bread and butter. So talk to me about, you said it's the first time you've brought HiveMind to Ukraine. Are we looking to kind of field these things here in Ukraine as well?
To be clear, these are already fielded in Ukraine. We already have 5 partner forces across Ukraine, and they're active on operations all over Ukraine right now. And they're all powered by our HiveMind autonomy stack, our AI pilot, which essentially sits above the communication architecture, the INS, and all the data on board that, and fuses it and gives us a position, allows us to operate without GPS.
In that operating without GPS in denied environments is so vital to the mission success. How does it work? I mean, how do you operate without GPS? You said vision tracking on the camera. I assume it's kind of the same sort of thing?
No, so VBAT is fully operational, as I mentioned. So every single flight, and we've done over 200 so far, over 35 combat missions, none of those have had GPS. It's always disabled right from the start. And so as I mentioned before, that's a combination of the communication architecture and the radio on board, but then with our HiveMind sat above that, okay, it then uses the INS and other data on board from the payload, wind speed, bearing, puts that all together, fuses it, and then provides you an accurate grid of where the aircraft is. It's not as accurate as GPS, but it is certainly accurate enough to operate here, and it's accurate enough to target off, which we've done very effectively here in Ukraine.
You bet. Might not be as accurate as GPS, but if there is no GPS, then it is more accurate than GPS, right?
Absolutely, and just to be clear, GPS does not work here. So anyone that's flying here, it needs to be disabled as soon as you fly. Every single mission we've flown here has had 0 GPS.
All right, James, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
All opinions expressed in this segment are solely the opinions of the contributors.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us this week on Weapons and Warfare. But before we say our final goodbyes, I want to bring in senior producer Brett Baker for some final thoughts on the show. You know, Brett, one of the main things that you just really can't miss is just the sheer number of drones here of all different types.
It's kind of like going to Lollapalooza of drones. You want wing drones? We got them. You want quadcopters? We got them. You want tiny drones? We got them. You want a drone as big as a smart car? They got them. It's definitely wild to see the assortment. Yeah. I think the one thing that all of these guys have kind of going against each other is that they are like a band trying to make that breakthrough, right? And trying to get that sale and be the one that gets picked up and goes on to be a partner with any of these countries. It is a cornucopia of drones here, to be sure. You can find one, I am sure, that will do whatever you need it to do.
Right. And something you just kind of mentioned there, and another main topic, is just all the foreign investment that's been announced and taking place. Tens of millions of dollars from the European Union, where investments were announced this week, and it's because they want to help Ukraine defend against the illegal invasion from Russia, but also they want to learn from Ukraine. Ukraine is kind of at the forefront of so much technology right now and so many advancements in battlefield tech. The rest of the world kind of needs to learn those lessons.
And I think they understand too that an investment in Ukraine right now is also an investment in your defense for the future. 100%. Because they're going to be developing weapons and practices and standards here that are going to be used for years to come. And if you're not on board with that, if you're not helping facilitate that, what are you doing?
Right.
So I think the investment aspect of all of this is unique and very important.
Yeah, we heard several times on the talks, if you're not testing in Ukraine, what are you doing? Right? If you don't have your weapon systems functioning in Ukraine right now, then you don't really know if they're going to work when the crap hits the fan.
All right, I'm going to steal the last one, Ryan.
Okay.
You had a pretty cool moment yesterday. I think it's a cool moment not only for our show, but for Straight Arrow News. You were asked to moderate a panel on Test Ukraine, a story that you've written on before.
Joining us to moderate the conversation is Ryan Robertson, a reporter and anchor for Straight Arrow News who has covered this initiative before.
What was that experience like?
It was incredible. You're on stage with some of the top decision makers from Ukraine. You're on the stage with a Ukrainian defender who is testing a lot of these new, prototype vehicles and prototype weapons. Just kind of gave me a little bit different perspective, I guess. But it's also great for the show. And it's great that they wanted me to do it because of our reporting, just kind of a little feather in the cap.
Well, I was proud of you watching you up there. You did a great job and represented all of us in style, for sure.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, Brett. Represent all of us in style. So, all right, folks, that's going to just about do it for us this week on Weapons in Warfare. As always, if you like what you saw and or heard, please like and subscribe to our social media feeds and download the Straight Arrow News app today. As for what's next, after we leave Lviv, we are hopping on a jet going straight to DC for the AFA's Airspace and Cyber Conference. So when I say we have a lot of content coming your way, folks, trust me, it's true. Download the app today so you can stay up to date with all of the latest. In the meantime, for senior producer Brett Baker, video editor Brian Spencer, graphics artist Dakota Patillo, and photographer Sam Beatty, I'm Ryan Robertson with Straight Arrow News, signing off.